Welcome. In this screencast, we will be setting up the software used in the course. This should take you 15 minutes or less. We will be using this free service called Glitch to create a real website, river rafting website to be clear, and then thereafter you will be building a personal website using this free service from Glitch. So click through and it should look like this. Now the next thing you need to do is sign in. And you'll notice here I'm already signed in with my Google Mail. So I'm going to click sign in and I'm going to just sign in with Google. Take note, it also allows you to sign in with Facebook, GitHub, Google, and you can also do the email magic link. If you don't have a Google email, it should accept others. Or you can just create an account if you don't want it synced with your other accounts. I'm going to go in through Google. Yes, I'm going to use that Chris Rigby email that I just made. And here we go. So here's my dashboard. It's inviting me now to create my first project, okay? And you can also see there's a lot more magic you can unlock using this interface, okay? We'll be using mostly this option up here, new project. But before that, let's make sure we are not getting ahead of ourselves. So let's just recap. We've clicked the link to access glitch.com, a free service. We've now logged in with our email and we're ready to get started. So if I scroll on down, let's make sure we complete all these steps together. Okay, we've completed step 1. We've signed in the top right corner of the screen, and I've used my Google email. Good. And you'll note here, we actually recommend not using your BYU-I, Idaho EDU email, because the BYU-I system is currently stopping that email, and I had that issue as well last semester, so I've opted to use my Google Gmail. Now, what we need to do is step 2, remix the starter project. So the project that we need to remix is this one. Let's click here after logging into Glitch. So notice I'm already logged into Glitch. It's assigned me crigby, okay, .edu. And I'm going to come back here and click that. Now, what does it do? It loads a project in Glitch. And what you see here, okay, is me. I'm still logged into Glitch. The browser settings, okay, it cached my session. It's recognized me, I'm logged in. Okay, it recognized this session was active, and it's opened up the project with my login with Glitch. So the next thing we need to do is remix. And this is something you can do as well with one another. And if you need me to look at your code more closely, you can share your projects with me so that I can remix and edit and see what's going on with your web pages. So whenever you do the remix to edit button and you click that, it creates a copy of the project, okay, that you can own and you can edit. So if you shared your project with me the same way, I can edit it and have my own version of your website. So let's come over here and take note. What we want to do is click remix to edit. Now, could you find it? Where do we go to remix to edit? Oh, that's right. I wasn't able to see it clearly because I had clicked on my profile. It's right under here, under account. If we click remix to edit, it's now assigned me a project called Concrete Serious Jam. How interesting is that? So what I'm going to do is click here and see it shows me this is the starter code for the WDD 130 course. That's great. I'm actually going to see if I can adjust this name. Is it going to let me? It's going to let me change the name. It does. Ooh, another project has a blank name. So I'm going to actually call this WDD 130 starter code, just so I know what I'm looking at. Okay, it's great to have a subtitle, but I'm going to alter the actual title so that I'm aware of what I'm using. And for me, this is the starter code for WDD 130. Great. So we've signed into Glitch. We have remixed the project and taken ownership of it by renaming it. So now I know what to do. Now you'll take note down here, you can create new projects. You can remix the project or you can switch projects, okay? Right now, do you see any other projects? I don't. This is the only one I see. If I were to create a new one, I would see it once I switch. So for now, I'm going to just stop right here, okay? We've done quite a bit in a little time. So let's come back here. Okay, we've created a copy of the project by remixing to edit. That's great. Now let's be more familiar with the interface. It's pointing at all these things. You see arrows going all over the place. Okay, 1 is the name. I just showed you how to edit that. Okay, let's look at 2. That's an index.html file. That is a list of the files in the project. And specifically, they've highlighted index.html. So that's a place where we can do some markup language. Let's go do that. Let's just try it out real quick. Let's click on index.html. Oh, what do you see? I see a whole bunch of hypertext markup language I don't understand yet because I haven't studied or done this class yet. So for you, if this is new for you, become familiar with these in the vocabulary section of week 1. Okay, we see we have some organization here. And to show you how it all works briefly, I'm going to now click this show button to preview my markup next to how it will display to users. So what you see here, we call this the markup, and we call this the page that you view as a user. So this is what people see, and this is what developers design. Okay, so this is what we see going on behind the scenes as developers, but this is what users actually see. Now, where do you see home, about me, site plan, and resources over on the developer side? That's right, we see them right here. These are nested inside what we call an unordered list. And the unordered list has some listed items. And to explain that, the listed items come by default with bullet points. These bullet points represent the styling that's being applied to listed items in an unordered list. You can also see this page has a title. Okay, if we were to preview this page in a new window, this is what we'd see. We'd see a page in the title, WDD 130. And if we come over here, that's because we've assigned it a title, WDD 130. So become familiar with these HTML elements and tags. Everything that you do here as a developer and a designer is going to show some time over here for viewers. Some of those things are hidden. We don't see anything about meta declarations, and we don't see the head visibly here on the site. So there's some things that go on hidden behind the scenes, and there's other things we can make more visible in the body. Now you see here in the body, we have a header. This is a division, okay? This is almost like a parent container we set up to hold some items. Just like a box can hold some of your items at home when you make a move, a header will contain things that we want in the head of the web page or near the top. Things like navigation are usually situated in the header. There will be more of this discussed in the next assignment, where we will create other items like paragraphs. So let's actually do that in the body. Just below here, to give you an idea, I'm going to create a heading 1 called About Me. Okay, and you'll see it right there. It's automatically adjusting itself in the preview. Next to the code, I can see my markup showing for viewers right here. And if I come down here with the paragraph tag, I can say, here is a little paragraph, about me. Now make sure whenever you do markup language, whatever you open needs to close. And everything inside or in between those elements is what we see. Okay, so if I open a paragraph element, I need to encase that with paragraph, type some text. And then I need to close that paragraph before I open a new paragraph. Okay, here is more information about me. I start a new sentence. I like basketball. Okay, and again, you see this in real time editing over here, or I should say updating. Any edits I make on the developer side are updating on the user side. Okay, but again, we can see this over here. If we refresh the page, we can see it's also updating. So some of you will like to do this. You'll like to do your design for markup over here and preview in a new window. But what I recommend is closing that preview and just having your preview next to the code. So any changes you make here should appear over here in real time. So that's how you would go about it. If you want to edit like a positioning.html file, which I don't recommend at this stage, we'll be getting to that later in the semester. Okay, you can see some HTML here, and you don't see it over here, do you? You still see the About Me content. Well, what if I wanted to preview positioning.html based on this remixed project? Well, to do that, you must change the URL, and you must say, hold on, we're no longer looking at index.html, which is the default. We're looking at positioning.html. So if I want to see positioning.html, I need to type it out. Okay, and look, there it is. I've changed the URL here to match the HTML file I want to see over here. So essentially, that's how you should learn to navigate Glitch. You click on the file you want to edit, you make those markup changes here, and then you should be able to preview them over here. If you want to change the URL to say, let's look at siteplan.html. If I want to preview this from the user side, I have to click here on change URL. And I would say site-plan.html. And then you'll see, oh, look at this. So that's the whole reason we remixed the starter project. So we would have access to pre-made files. And as we go through the semester, week by week, we'll declare, hey, today we're creating a new file. In which case, you may want to come over here and create a new file. For example, week 1, we make aboutme.html. And if I click add this file, you'll notice there's now a new file called aboutme.html. But it's not what I'm previewing. So every time you create a file or you want to edit one, click on it here, make your changes here, and then make sure you preview your code over here by clicking change URL and then updating it with the file that you'd like to preview. And in this case, check it out. There's nothing to preview because there's nothing on the design side in the markup language. So essentially, that's how you do Glitch. That's how you sign in. That's how you remix a project. And that's how you add and edit files. So look for the next screencast. Okay. And what we'll do in the next screencast, if you're a little confused still, is we'll walk through how to create our first aboutme.html page. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next. Well, I should say I'll see you next time. Thanks.